this way, this way, this way. Strange voices were echoing in the darkness. But Noddy and I didn't move an inch, not an inch. I wasn't going to let anyone trick me into doing something stupid. Noddy whispered to me, let's stay still until our eyes get used to the dark. And I agreed with him. But the strange voices kept muttering, this way, this way, this way. And then I saw them. Oh, it was horrible. I saw about 100 pair of eyes, all yellow and staring at us. Look, Noddy, I said. All those eyes with no bodies. What shall we do? Just then, something brushed past my leg and gave me goose pimples from my little toe right up to the tips of my ears. I wanted to get out, but Noddy pulled me along with him. Oh, he's so brave at times, even though at other times he can be extremely stupid. Fancy wanting to go into that castle in the first place. Quite the most ridiculous idea that anyone could have had. But, oh, where was I? Oh, yes. Well, Noddy suddenly spotted a door at one end, so we made our way towards it. All the yellow eyes watched us as we went, but we reached the door, opened it, and in we went. Oh, we got such a shock. Standing in front of us was an enormous man, reaching up to the ceiling, and another huge, fat man, stretching from one wall to the other. Well, this is it, Noddy, I murmured. We've had our chips now. No, we haven't, Big Ears, said Noddy. Just look at those two. They're not two men. They're us. Us, indeed. What a ridiculous thing to imagine. How could it be us standing in front of us when we were standing in front of them, or something? Mirrors. It's all done with mirrors. The whole room was covered with mirrors. Mirrors that made you look like a giant, or a worm, or a hippopotamus, or a lot of tadpoles all swimming about in the air. And of course Noddy found it all very amusing. He began laughing and laughing and laughing. So much so that I began laughing as well. Laugh? Well, I thought my sides would split. And then, all of a sudden, the floor started to move. And the whole room turned into a long corridor, and we were bounced and tickled, thrown from side to side, up and down, inside out, just as if we were in a washing machine. But just when I thought I would be pulled into tiny pieces, everything stopped. You all right, Noddy? I asked. He nodded his head. Well, let's see where we are now. I looked around. We were in the middle of a laboratory. At least it looked like a laboratory. It was chock-a-block full of bubbling cauldrons and glass tubes, jars and phials full of different colored liquids or smoke. The ceiling was painted all over stars, and the walls had lots of mathematical figures and sums all over them. But as I've never been good at sums myself, I didn't understand them at all. And then I saw the yellow eyes. Silly, really. I should have thought of it before, but I didn't. Of course the eyes had bodies. Each pair of eyes belonged to a cat, and each cat sat by a cauldron, and each cauldron bubbled and spat and smoked. Something peculiar was going on here. Look, look, said Noddy. There's a man. I did look, and he was right. There was a man in a long cloak and a tall pointed hat, boiling something up and mumbling some very curious words.
I cast a spell, I mix it well, I juggle it in the air. I give it a slice of something nice, some poison, some bite and some hair. Then I add a few frogs, add a few dogs, some bats and rats as well. And then with the help of my cat I can yelp the magic mixing spell. Scare them, dare them, flibbity-gibbity-gee. Scratch them, bash them, mash them up for tea. Squash them, wash them, smother them in a swoosh them. Smother them in a swoosh them, smother them in a swoosh them. Smother them in a swoosh them, smother them in a swoosh them. Smother them in a swoosh them, smother them in a swoosh them. Smother them in a fun. Nails, oh mixing trouble is fun. I pour in red oil, I bring to the boil, and then with all my cats can sing. Scare them, dare them, flibbity-gibbity-gee. Scratch them, bash them, mash them up for tea. Squash them, wash them, smother them in a swamp. Stir it, churn it, and make it whatever I want. Cats, gather round. Today we're gonna turn all the cakes and buns in the bakery stale, stinking and moldy. Bonny cats, bring the moldy mixture. Fat cats, fetch the bottle of bad eggs, bad fish, cheese, and cabbage concoction. And skinny cats, you must bring a dozen toast and staleys with old bread and old vegetables. Right, now pour everything into this cauldron. It's beginning to work already. What a deliciously revolting smell, and that blue smoke looks beautifully bad. Let me only just pouring a little rancid butter and some sludge and slime. And now, cats, we are ready for the spell. Round the cauldron we go. Scare them, dare them, flibbity-gibbity-gee. Scratch them, bash them, mash them up for tea. Squash them, wash them, stir it, churn it, and make it whatever I want. If I get it wrong, it won't take me long to mix up another brew. I can take the spell book and have a quick look. The instructions tell me what to do. I can magic a sound, I can vanish the ground, I can change, I can conjure a trick. Every spell I make, I should have no mistake, for then it will work fast and quick. Scare them, dare them, flibbity-gibbity-gee. Scratch them, bash them, mash them up for tea. Squash them, wash them, smother them in a swamp. Stir it, churn it, make it whatever I want. Come on, you cats, let's get this thing together. Let's make this thing horrible. In with toadstools and all kinds of goodies and crawlies. Ah!
He was the nasty wizard, mixing up a lot of trouble for the poor people of Shrimpton-on 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 trouble for the poor people of Shrimpton-on. Through it, fell down a lot of steps, got a lot of bruises, landed on a cold stone floor, and discovered we were in a 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 floor, and discovered we were. What? Oh no, Noddy, we're going to be attacked by all those black pussies. Oh no. But Noddy wasn't worried. Don't be silly, Big Ears. It isn't one of those cats. Look, it's a poor little pussy chained up here by that nasty wizard. And there, to be sure, was a thin, bedraggled cat chained to the wall. Poor little pussy. How I wished I could have taken her home and given her some warm milk. But I was daydreaming. Come along, Big Ears, said Noddy. There's a link loose on the chain. Let's pull it free. So with Noddy pulling one way and me pulling the other, we tugged and tugged and tugged and tugged.
I'm caught, I'm trapped, I'm chained here like a rat. The wizard wandered past my house and hit me on the head. I went right out with a horrible clout. When I woke, I thought I was dead. But I wasn't. I was caught, I was trapped, I was chained here like a rat. Down in this dungeon, far away from my own little home and bed. I was feeling so sad and my tummy felt bad, so I knew it was time I was fed. But I wasn't. I was caught, I was trapped, I was chained here like a rat. A most undignified place, you see, for a pussycat to be in. So I pulled and tugged and yelled very loud so that everyone could hear my din. But they didn't. So I'm caught, I'm trapped, I'm chained here like a rat. Oh, Big Ears and Noddy, he's a wicked old wizard, and I know he's up to his tricks. So try to pull here and set me free, and let's get out of here quick. Oh, you have. Oh, I am. Then I'm not. Not caught, not trapped, not chained here like a rat. I'm a cat, I'm a cat, I'm a cat. Well, let's go.
At last the little cat was free. Now, to escape. Noddy had a good idea. Calling for the guard, we hid behind the door. The guard came in and went down the steps. We slipped out, shut the door, tiptoed down the passage, turned the corner to the front door, and then someone was coming. We hid behind a huge wardrobe. The two talking cats passed without seeing us. What a lucky escape. I whispered to Noddy. Noddy nodded. I wish he hadn't. No sooner had he started nodding than his bell started ringing, and it rang like an alarm bell, so that everyone in the castle knew where we were. Run for it! Run for it! Luckily, we were near the front door, and we managed to get outside. But then, just everything happened. It began to rain, then to snow. It grew very misty. Trees began to fall down, and then the ground began to shake, as if it was an earthquake. I must say, I felt a little scared. But Noddy grabbed my hand and pulled me along. But just as we reached the car, I realized that Pussy wasn't with us. Pussy, I called. Pussy! Then I saw her, looking very sad. not daring to move. And just as I began to run back for her, whoosh! There was the wizard, picking her up and laughing. Ha 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 ha! I called, "Please let her go!" "Please let her go," shouted Noddy. Said the little cat. Then the wizard saw Noddy's little car, and he looked very excited. "Very well," he said. "You can have the pussycat. Only if you will let me have that car of yours. I have always wanted a little car." I looked at Noddy, and Noddy looked at his little car, and he patted it gently. "All right," he said quietly. "You can have the car." The wizard threw Pussy into my hands and leapt into the car, his long starry cloak flying in the air.
Teach me how to drive a car, please, little nodding man. It's a thing I've always wanted to do, so come along and teach me if you can. I've never really seen one before, but this one looks just fine. If I sit in the front, will it start right away, or must I wait for a while?
To race too fast, but don't be slow, and take a lot of care and
The greatest wizard I shall be, the only one to have a car. A motorized, mechanical marvel. Yippee! Hurrah! Now I'll take it on me own. I think I'll have a try. Get out of my way, I'm off for the day. I know now how to drive.
But as soon as he got into the car, it bucked like a wild horse and threw the wizard onto the ground. The wizard tried again. But again Noddy's car threw him out. Really, it was very funny, and Noddy and I were having a good laugh about it. We soon stopped. The wizard put a spell of stillness on the little car. And this time it did nothing when the wizard sat down. "So far, so good," the wizard cackled, and he tried to start it. But of course it wouldn't go, because it still had the spell of stillness on it. "Oh, flippity-jibbity-gee, I've forgotten how to unspell it. I'll get my spell book." And so we followed the wizard back into the castle to get the spell book. But when we arrived in his laboratory room, what a commotion was going on. All the wizard's nasty cats had thrown every book they could find into the bubbling cauldrons, and they were trying to cast spells of their own, none of which were working, of course. They thought the books made the spells. Oh dear, some cats are very stupid. I can remember my Auntie Bluebell having a very silly cat. It would always go and sit on the seat that you were about to sit on. Very inconsiderate. Oh dear, now where was I? Ah yes, the cats had boiled up all the wizard's books. Well, the wizard, of course, was furious. "Yow, pish, tumble, diggle, toggles," he yelled so loudly that all the cats ran away and were never heard of again, except for poor little Pussy that I was still holding. Well, the wizard just broke down and cried. He was very unhappy. And here Noddy was very kind. He told the wizard that he would take him for a drive in his car to cheer him up. Naturally, the wizard was delighted. So out we went and got into the car. On our journey, the spell had worn off by then, Noddy discovered that the wizard wasn't really as bad as all that. He just didn't know what a wizard was supposed to do with his spells. And now that he had lost all his spell books, he couldn't even make spells anymore. Oh, he was very unhappy. Noddy explained that wizards didn't have to be nasty to people. They could be good. And he promised to take the wizard to Wizard Town, where all the good wizards live, and they could teach him how to be a sensible wizard instead of a silly one. Well, the people of Shrimpton-on-Sea were delighted with Noddy, and they cheered him through the streets and kept shaking his hand and buying him ice creams. And by the end of our holiday, Noddy was quite a hero, and people even began to like the wizard, who couldn't make spells on them anymore. But then, like all good things, our holiday came to an end. This time, we piled the Skittles, the wizard, and Whiskers, my new name for our poor little pussy friend, we piled all of them and us into the car and journeyed home. First, we saw the wizard safely settled in Wizard Town, and then we dropped the Skittles at their home. And finally, Noddy, Whiskers, and I went back to Toadstool House for a welcome tea and rest. I found a comfortable basket for Whiskers to sleep in, and she went straight off to sleep. Noddy and I said goodnight and thank you to his little car. We had our hot drink and a slice of favourite crunchy cake. And then we went to bed. Good night, Noddy, I said. It's good to be home. Yes, it is, Big Ears. Good night. Oh, what an exciting holiday we've had, Noddy. Yes, Big Ears, we have. I shall dream about this holiday for a long time. A long, long time. A long, long, long...
I dreamt last night I was the man on the moon.
I dreamt last night I was the king of Ruritania.
I dreamt I was a wizard weaving magic spells.
I dreamt I was an astronaut on journeys into space.
I dreamt that I was in my little car, and Big Ears and I, we drove in the sky. When we saw the sparklers lighting up the stars, we floated over Thailand along the Milky Way. Dreams, dreams, what do we dream as we lie in bed and we close our eyes? The pictures that come are full of surprise. We are carried off in flashes of light, flashes of light. All goes helter-skelter in the middle of the night.
I thought I saw a nest at the bottom of the sea. It might be a whale's nest, or it might be a dream. I wonder, shall I ever know if it was really there? My dreams are full of mystery, perhaps I'll never know. Dreams, dreams, what do we dream as we lie in bed and we close our eyes? The pictures that come are full of surprise. We are carried off in flashes of light, flashes of light, and the world goes helter-skelter in the middle of the night. I shall dream tonight of all the fun we've had, And I shall dream of my new pussycat. We are safe together now, Noddy and me.
Big Ears and I will dream and dream. Dreams.
What do we dream as we lie in bed and we close our eyes?
The pictures that come are
Full of surprise. We are